thought the world wasn't ready to know the truth. Hidden deep in caves, buried under ruins, or locked away in secret vaults, these discoveries were so disturbing they were banned from public view. Every single one of these finds left experts in total shock. But why were they really hidden? And who decided we shouldn't see them? Let's uncover the secrets they tried to erase. Strange skulls with unknown DNA. Something very strange was discovered in Peru, ancient skulls that looked nothing like normal human heads. These were the elongated Paracas skulls, and in 2014, a geneticist decided to test them. At first, the goal was simple: figure out how these long skulls were shaped that way. But the DNA test results were shocking. They found mutations in the skull's mitochondrial DNA that don't match any known species on Earth. This wasn't just weird, it made scientists question what they really knew about human history. Then came even more surprises in 2016. Another round of DNA tests showed that these skulls didn't belong to native South Americans at all. Instead, their genetic roots traced back to Eastern Europe and ancient Mesopotamia. That's not supposed to be possible. If this is true, it means people from Europe and the Middle East reached the Americas thousands of years earlier than we ever thought. For scientists, this opened up a mystery that still hasn't been solved. History might not be what we were taught in school. Father Crespi's hidden treasures. This strange-looking man with a deep stare was Father Carlos Crespi, a Sicilian monk with a wild story. He said he owned over 50,000 ancient artifacts, gold plates, strange carvings, and objects that didn't match any known history. The Vatican even allowed him to open a museum, but disaster hit. A fire tore through his collection, destroying much of it. After Father Crespi died, the remaining artifacts vanished. People began to question, was it all real? Had he fooled everyone? His name became a mystery and many simply brushed it off as a myth. But then came a shocking twist. In 2016, some determined investigators dug deeper and followed the trail to Ecuador. What they found was mind-blowing. All of Father Crespi's missing artifacts were real, safely stored inside the Central Bank Museum of Ecuador. They were perfectly cataloged and kept out of public sight for decades. The whole story that many laughed at turned out to be true. Makes you wonder what other myths are quietly hiding in plain sight. Invisible creatures in our sky. Most people get so busy searching the stars for aliens that they forget to look up at the skies right above their heads. But here's something strange. There might be invisible creatures flying through our atmosphere right now and we can't see them. Sound strange? Well, in 2015, a brilliant scientist named Dr. Ruggero Santilli created a special kind of telescope that could detect something regular eyes can't: antimatter. And when he used it, he saw things no one expected: antimatter galaxies, antimatter cosmic rays, and something even stranger floating in Earth's sky. Things got even more bizarre when Dr. Santilli's test revealed two different types of invisible entities right here on Earth. He called them ITs, invisible terrestrial entities. These strange objects move and float through our skies, completely invisible to normal sight. We still don't know what they are or what they want. Could they be some new life forms or something else we haven't figured out yet? Whatever they are, they're a mystery hiding right above us. Roman sword found in Canada? Something strange was found off the coast of Canada, and it's shaking up everything we thought we knew about history. For years, people believed the Vikings were the first from the old world to reach the new world. But then, an ancient Roman sword showed up near Nova Scotia. Experts say it could be from the 2nd century, which means Romans may have arrived over 800 years before the Vikings. And that's just the start of the mystery. The sword wasn't the only thing. Near the same area, they also found Roman-style crossbow bolts, old coins from the Roman Empire, burial mounds, and even stones with Latin writing. Historians are now questioning everything we once believed about early explorers. If this is all true, then it means our entire understanding of world contact might be completely wrong. And honestly, it feels like we still know very little about the real story of our past. Mystery of the giant stone ball. It looked like something out of a lost world. Deep in a forest in Bosnia, a huge stone ball was discovered, and the man behind it, Samir Osmanagic, called himself the Bosnian Indiana Jones. He claimed it was built by an ancient civilization over 1,000 years ago. People all over the internet got excited. Was it a message from the past? A forgotten technology? The story caught fire fast, and everyone wanted to know what it really was. But the truth hit hard. Geologists stepped in and said this wasn't man-made at all. That perfect shape and reddish-brown color, just nature doing its thing? It's called a concretion, a naturally formed stone with high iron content that gives it that unique color. So what looked like an ancient mystery turned out to be a geological surprise. In the end, maybe it's better to trust the scientists more than the adventurers with fancy hats. 1,600-year-old woman with a strange skull. Something truly strange was found in 2016 near Mexico City. Archaeologists were digging around the ancient ruins of Teotihuacan when they came across a skeleton that was over 1,600 years old. At first, it looked like a normal discovery, but things got weird really fast. The skull was long and stretched, and the teeth were covered with minerals like jewels. This wasn't just any random woman from history. This lady was clearly part of the rich class back then and probably wanted everyone to know it. People today do strange things to look different, but this was next level. Experts believe she came from an elite group in a pre-Hispanic society, but no one knows her name or what culture exactly she belonged to. She's now called the Woman of Tepehualco because of the nearby area where she was found. It's still a mystery why her skull was shaped like that. Maybe it was beauty, maybe it was status, or maybe something even deeper. But one thing's for sure, the rich have always found odd ways to stand out. Mystery cave that changed human history. This cave didn't just shake the ground, it shook history itself. In 2020, a group of archaeologists were digging deep in the mountains of central Mexico when they found something crazy. Hundreds of stone tools buried inside a cave. These tools weren't just old, they were way older than anyone expected. The discovery suggested that humans might have lived in the Americas over 30,000 years ago. That's 15,000 years earlier than what scientists believed before. But instead of celebration, this discovery set off a storm in the archaeology world. Things got heated fast. Some experts argued the tools weren't even made by humans. Others doubted if the objects were truly stone. Some just didn't trust cave evidence at all. What should have been a groundbreaking moment turned into a full-on controversy. The debates got so intense it felt like archaeologists were one step away from throwing punches over rocks. In the end, this cave didn't just hold ancient tools, it opened a battle over everything we thought we knew about human history. Creepy mummy opened her eyes on camera. Something truly chilling happened inside a quiet cathedral in Mexico. In 2012, a family was visiting the shrine of Saint Santa Inocencia at the Guadalajara Cathedral. Like any tourist, they were recording videos to remember the trip, but later while watching the footage, they noticed something shocking. The mummy of the young saint, who's been on display for years, seemed to open her eyes for a brief moment. At first, they thought their eyes were playing tricks, but the camera clearly showed it. And that's when things got spooky. Some people quickly called it fake, saying the head isn't even real, only the hands are said to be original. But here's where it gets even stranger. A top church official, Cardinal Juan Francisco Robles, claimed that Santa Inocencia was already known for miracles, and maybe this was just another one. Now the debate is wide open. Was it a miracle, a hoax, or something darker? Some even whisper about demonic possession. What do you think? Was it a holy sign or a haunting? Mystery of the sacred cloth. This piece of cloth has sparked debates for centuries. It's called the Shroud of Turin, and many people believe it once covered the body of Jesus Christ. The cloth first appeared in a French church in 1353, but stories about it go all the way back to the time of Jesus, around 30 AD. According to legend, the cloth traveled from Turkey, then Constantinople, and finally to Greece, but these tales are impossible to prove because the people who might have known the truth are long gone. Still, the story kept growing. Now, here's where it gets even more intense. In the 1980s, scientists were finally allowed to test the cloth using carbon dating. Their results shocked many believers. The cloth was made between 1260 and 1390 AD, meaning it was likely a medieval fake. But that didn't end the debate. Some believe the test was wrong or that the cloth had been repaired in the Middle Ages. Today, the battle between believers and skeptics is still alive, and the truth remains hidden in mystery. Lost treasure of the Copper Scroll. It all started with a shepherd finding the Dead Sea Scrolls, but what came next was even more shocking. In 1952, archaeologists were searching every cave in the area when they found something no one expected. A scroll made of copper, hidden on a shelf carved into a cave wall. This wasn't like the other scrolls filled with prayers or rules. This one listed 63 secret places filled with hidden gold and silver all across what is now Israel. The total treasure mentioned in that scroll, about 160 tons of gold and silver. That's over $3 billion today. Since then, treasure hunters have searched far and wide, but no one has found even a single piece of it. Some experts think the treasure was used to rebuild Jerusalem after the Romans left, but honestly, no one really knows. Maybe the truth is still buried deep beneath the earth, or maybe it's your turn to grab a shovel and start digging. Oldest temple that changed history. Something big was hiding under the quiet lands of Turkey, and no one saw it coming. In 1994, a group of archaeologists stumbled upon something that flipped history upside down. They found Göbekli Tepe, a mysterious site filled with giant stone pillars arranged in perfect circles. This place was way older than the pyramids and dated back to the 10th millennium BC. But here's the shocking part. Those who built it weren't farmers or city dwellers. They were hunters who didn't even know about farming yet. That discovery crushed the old idea that humans first settled down, learned farming, and only then built temples. Since then, archaeologists have been scratching their heads. If temples were built before farming, maybe everything we thought about how civilization started is wrong. It's like the chicken and egg question, but instead of chickens, we've got massive stones. Experts are still trying to figure out how semi-nomadic people managed to build something so advanced. So for now, the mystery remains unsolved, and history books may need a major rewrite. King Tut's disturbing burial mystery. Something about King Tutankhamun's burial just doesn't feel right. Everyone knows about the famous discovery of his tomb, but even today, new secrets are still coming out. In 2010, scientists studied his body and found that this young pharaoh had a tough life. He had malaria and a rare foot disease. But the real shock came from the way he was buried. His skin had turned black because his body was soaked in oil, his heart was completely missing, and his private parts were mummified in a very strange way. Some experts even believe his body caught fire inside the tomb because of the oil. That's not the only odd part. The tomb itself looked rushed, like it wasn't meant for a king. The paint on the walls hadn't even dried before they sealed it up, and there were microbes growing everywhere. Experts believe his sudden death may have forced the builders to finish things in a hurry. With every new finding, it becomes clear that the story of King Tut is not just legendary, it's full of strange and messy secrets still waiting to be uncovered. Vanished civilization of Sansing Due. Something strange happened in China and no one can explain it. Nearly 3,000 years ago, a whole civilization called Sansing Due disappeared without a trace. No one knows why they left or what happened to them. The only proof they existed was found in 1929 when a man fixing a sewage ditch in Sichuan found strange jade and stone artifacts. These ancient treasures later ended up with rich collectors. But the mystery deepened in 1986 when archaeologists found 2 more pits full of similar items. Who made them? Why did they bury them? No one knew. Experts now think these beautiful objects were made by the Sansing Due people, but no one really understands what caused their sudden collapse. Earthquakes? War? Something else? All that's left are the treasures buried deep underground. Even today, the Sansing Due ruins raise more questions than answers. It's like a silent puzzle from the past, and we still don't know who they really were or why they left everything behind. Mystery book with no answers. This book is like a riddle with no solution. The Voynich manuscript looks like a normal old book at first, filled with pages of handwritten text and drawings. But once you open it, nothing makes sense. For the first part, you might think you're following along, until suddenly there are drawings of naked women in bathtubs, strange plants, and bizarre symbols all over the pages. The writing is in a language no one on earth can read. It's not Latin, not Greek, not anything we've seen before. Ever since it was found in 1912, this book has driven experts crazy. Cryptographers, language experts, scientists, everyone has tried to decode it, but no one has cracked the code. Some say it's a prank from the past, a made-up book to trick people, but many researchers believe there's a real message hiding in those pages, waiting for the right person to unlock it. Noah's Ark was a pyramid? A dusty cave and a thrown rock led to one of history's biggest surprises. Over 50 years ago, a shepherd was walking near the Dead Sea when he tossed a stone into a cave. He heard something crack. Curious, he stepped inside and found a jar, and inside that jar were ancient scrolls. These weren't just any scrolls. They became known as the Dead Sea Scrolls, one of the greatest archaeological discoveries ever. Inside of them were around 800 ancient writings, and some of them had shocking claims that challenged what we thought we knew about the Bible. Here's where it gets wild. When experts finally translated the scrolls, they found something strange about Noah's Ark. The scrolls describe the Ark in a totally different way, not as a long ship, but as something more like a pyramid. Yes, they said the wooden ribs of the Ark were joined at the top, giving it a pointed roof, just like a pyramid. At first, it sounded confusing, but after more study, experts started agreeing this new shape actually made sense. If this is true, it changes everything we thought we knew about that famous flood story. The truth doesn't stay buried forever. These banned discoveries prove that some secrets are just too big to hide. If this shocked you, wait till you see what they're still keeping from us. See you in the next mystery.